Today, we are going book shopping for the first time in a million years. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't been here before, my name is Cameron. I make videos about books and reading and readers and buying books, which is what we are doing today. I feel like I haven't filmed one of these in months. I really want to say that the last one I had was in March because I have a goal for myself that I only want to buy books. I only want to buy books that I've already read. So today, for the first time in several months, I am going to go to my local Books A Million and see if we can get like 6, 7, 8 books maybe, and find some books that I've already read and stuff like that. So I'm going to take you along with me. I am actually feeling very spooky today, if you can't tell. Here's the shirt I'm wearing. It's a Morticia Addams shirt, and the tote bag I'm bringing with me is a nice little fall Snoopy. I'm not a huge fall person, but like spooky season is upon us, so I feel like I need to be at least a little spooky. And I feel like the Addams Family is a prime example of a little spooky. So anyway, next time we talk, I will be in the car. So see you in a few minutes. Okay, so we are here. I am going to keep an eye out for a few of the books that I've read recently. Hold on. For a few of the books that I've read recently, Hood Feminism is one that comes to mind. I honestly might buy the first Twilight book. If you watched last week's video, you'll know that technically, I did lie. I did come to Books A Million this last week to buy Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow for my family reading vlog. But when I came in, I was like, I just have to get more books. So anyway, but I'm going to be looking for a lot of the non-fiction books that I've been reading recently, like Hood Feminism. And I don't know, if anything kind of strikes my fancy, I'm very much a mood buyer. I don't normally go into bookstores being like, I have to buy this book specifically, but Hood Feminism is definitely one I want to keep an eye out for. Oh, also, do you like my purple sunglasses? Anyway, but yeah, so that's what I'll be doing. While I'm in there, I'll be listening to an audiobook. Oh, the audiobook is Rogue by Julie Kagawa. I had a commenter comment that I should read the Talon series. So that is book 2 of the Talon series. So if the commenter is watching, I am reading it and I'm very much enjoying it. I think that's all I have. So I'll see you inside. We are so back, gang. Book buying is so back, but also I'm back at my apartment. So, here's the haul. I ended up getting, oh my goodness, hold on. I ended up getting 7 books, which is great. I did succeed my goal of only buying books that I haven't read before, although I was very tempted by certain ones. Anna Marie Tendler's biography, Men Have Called Her Crazy, comes out in 2 days, like when I'm recording it, and it was already on the shelf there, and I was very tempted to go ahead and buy it, but I decided I didn't want to because I'm trying to be a conscientious, what the heck? He's ratting around over there. Because I'm trying to be a conscientious buyer and not just consumption. Like, I'm not trying to do that. So, I did end up holding back on that. I also saw a Dostoevsky book that I wanted to read. I saw White Nights on the shelf because every time I look it up on my library, it's either not available or it's in like a weird format that's a little hard to read, and I really want to read White Nights. So, I don't know. But anyway, 7 books, all previously read. Here is the stack. Ugh. pretty good stack. We got some smaller books, but I think all of them are books that I've read within the year. I'll just give you the breakdown of each book that I bought. First of all, I did not find Hood Feminism, which was very disappointing. I was really looking for Hood Feminism, and I couldn't find it anywhere. But it was okay because I found Freedom as a Constant Struggle, which if you've been here on this channel for a while, you've heard me talk about this. It's written by Angela Y. Davis, who is an activist who has been active in Black rights in America since the 60s. And she wrote, this is just a collection of her essays and speeches and interviews she was in about the US prison system and how it disproportionately affects Black people and its kind of relationship or parallel to Palestine. I believe this book came out in 2016 or 2018, so it's before what's currently going on there. But it does give a good idea of what's going on there. It's a great resource. A lot of people really recommend it. But I was very, very happy to find this. I was not expecting to find it, but I did. And it's also a very quick read. I want to say it's only like 130 pages. So check that out. But I was delighted to find it. I did not think I would find it. Another one that I found was Honey and Spice, which by Bolu Babalola, which was one of my favorite rom-coms that I have read this year. I had such a good time reading it, and the main love interests are very good together. Like, they have great dynamics. I think Babalola does a great job writing romances. I will definitely be keeping an eye out for if she decides to write another one again. But this one, it was just so much fun, and they communicate a lot better than a lot of romantic leads that I've read, so I really enjoyed it. It's very smart. Check it out if you haven't. Also, look at this cover. Beautiful. You all know that my entire personality is based around buying books that have pretty covers. And shopping is really, really hard when I just want to buy all of the books that have pretty covers. Like, regardless. And I've bought some real stinkers, like some really, really bad ones that just had gorgeous covers. So, I don't know. But another one that you all have heard me yap about relentlessly. It's Kindred. I'm so happy to have this book. I really actually have to go check my shelves to make sure I haven't bought this book already. I don't think I have. I think I'm just misremembering stuff. But Kindred is Octavia Butler's, one of her 2 standalone books that she ever wrote. Beautiful. This book is beautiful. It's sci-fi in the sense that there's time travel. It's a historical fiction because it's about a Black woman who lives in the 70s, and she keeps getting traveled back in time to her white ancestor who was a slave owner. And it's basically her kind of struggling with her ancestry and with slavery, having to live slavery despite the fact that it is very, very, I believe this book was written in the 70s, despite the fact that they have now received, she's able to do a lot of stuff that white people are able to do. So I think it is so good. Octavia Butler is the best. She is well known to be one of the best sci-fi writers, and it's so good. If you guys have never read this, probably one of my favorite books of the year so far. If I had to say, this and Freedom as a Constant Struggle, which I just showed you, both just amazing books. So good. We have one of my more recent 5-star reads, which is The Midnight Library. It's about a girl who dies, and you will learn more about that if you read the book. And she gets to go into the Midnight Library and look into all of the lives she could have lived because she doesn't feel great about the life she did live. And it's just about the importance of life and the effect you have on other people and a bunch of stuff like that. It is very, very good. I did cry like a baby. I want to say most of the books that I am showing you today are 4 or 5 stars. This one was definitely a 5-star. So I'm very glad to have it. I'm also glad to have it in paperback just because paperbacks are cheaper, honestly. And I feel like paperbacks are a little easier to read than hardbacks. Maybe that's just me though. I don't know. And then we have a crime fiction called Bright Young Women. I read this in January or February and it really, really stuck out to me. It's about a woman who survives, well, I don't really know how to describe it. A woman whose roommate is murdered by a serial killer and kind of the fallout of that and how that has affected her life and the importance of victims over the killers. This book is very good. It's a dual point of view of like 78, I think, is when her roommate is murdered and several other women in her sorority house. Yeah, it's split point of view of then and then more recently. I want to say like 2016 to 2020 range. So, yeah, I think it's very good. If you are at all interested in true crime, this is like a good one. She writes it, the author is Jessica Knoll. She writes it very, very realistically. And this one is also just a beautiful cover. I just love this cover, which is why I picked it up. Predictable, you know? Two more. This one's probably the newest one that I read that I very much enjoyed. I think I just read it last month. But The Devil in White City. This book actually was on the New York Times Readers' top 100 books of the century so far. I know that's a big pile of words, but yeah, this book was actually in that list, and I had just finished it when I read the list, so I was very glad to see that. But it is about the construction of the World's Fair in Chicago in 1893-ish. So it's about the construction of the World's Fair, and it's about Dr. H.H. Holmes, who was an active serial killer less than a mile away from the World's Fair. So it's kind of about both the architectural side of things and them creating this World's Fair and what Holmes was doing, like what his methods were. And he very likely is one of the most prolific serial killers in US history. So he's an interesting person to learn about because I had never heard of him before I picked up this book. And maybe I just live under a rock, I don't know, but I've never heard of him before I picked up this book. So, yeah. I thought it was very interesting. It's a cool historical nonfiction book. And I've said this before, I'm not like a big historical nonfiction person, but I really, really enjoyed this book. So, you guys should definitely check it out too. And then the final book. The final book is a classic I read in February this year. It's a beautiful book. It's Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. What can I say about this book? Oh my goodness. It is very, very good. It's about Janie, who is a black woman who kind of just like lives her life and becomes very successful through some very advantageous marriages and like what that means to her. And it's really nice because it examines women, and I think this book was written in the 1920s or something, but it examines just women and the lives of women. And Janie is an interesting character because she is so autonomous and she's so independent and so like outspoken, and that was not a regular thing for the literature of the time. A lot of the classics that I've read that were written by black authors actually were written by men. So it focuses very much on men, like Ralph Ellison and Richard Wright. But Zora Neale Hurston writes about the perspective of black women. And I love this book. First of all, the cover, once again, beautiful. But it's such a significant work in black American history. I completely think you should check this out. It's so, so good. If you're looking for a classic to read, this is your girl. But yeah, so that is what I got at the bookstore today. I'd say that's a pretty good haul. I feel pretty happy about that. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching my book shopping video. If you have any recommendations for me that were anything like those books that I just recommended to you, please let me know. If you want to hear more about any specific books, you can comment that down below and I'll try and elaborate on it as much as I can. Don't forget to read other reader reviews if you're interested but you don't know if you can do it. So, thank you so much for watching this video. I post shorts multiple times a week, up to 5 days I think. Most of the time I average around 5 days. I post a longer video like this one every Sunday. And today, read a classic book. Go pick up a nonfiction from a perspective that is not similar to your own. Like, I am a white woman, so someone like me should read a book by a person of color. And of course, go visit your local library. I will see you all later. Goodbye!